Praise be Jesus Christ. Today we celebrate the feast of St. Lawrence of Brindisi, one of 3 Franciscan saints officially declared a doctor of the Church. St. Lawrence, along with St. Anthony of Padua and St. Bonaventure. In fact, St. Lawrence of Brindisi, you can find his works in 15 large volumes, and one of the most well-known is called the Mariale, which is his exposition of Mariology. One of our Franciscan Friars of the Immaculate also did his doctoral dissertation on the Mariale of St. Lawrence of Brindisi. He was born July 22nd in 1559 in Brindisi, which is located in southern Italy. And right from his youth, he displayed extraordinary talents. In fact, at that time in Italy, there was a custom during Christmas time when they would have some of the youths come up and preach in honor of our Lord, who at 12 years old preached or taught the elders in the temple. And so St. Lawrence, at the mere age of 6, got up and gave a fiery sermon and inspired and moved hearts. And this, of course, simply foreshadowed his illustrious career as an itinerant preacher. At 16 years old, he entered the Franciscan order, and after the novitiate, he continued his studies in philosophy and theology, at which he excelled greatly. He had a gift for languages. He spoke 7 languages: Latin, Italian, French, Spanish, German, Greek, and also Hebrew. And as we know how God's grace builds on nature, so we see it as well in the life of St. Lawrence of Brindisi. He had these natural gifts, a great intellect and a gift for languages. And so God's grace built on that, used his natural talents for the glory of God and the salvation of souls. St. Lawrence, of course, used his gift of languages, becoming a great preacher of the gospel. And so it's in St. Lawrence, really, that we find a great example of what it means to be a member of the Church Militant. St. Lawrence, interestingly enough, also led the Christian army in battle. He's famous for this. He was a chaplain for the Christian army in a battle in Hungary in 1601 against the Turks. But this isn't our principal battle in this world. This isn't what the Church Militant really refers to, but it refers to the spiritual battle. As we heard in the collect of the Mass, the prayer at the beginning of the Mass, it says that God raised up St. Lawrence for the glory of his name and for the salvation of souls. This is the battle that the Church Militant is in. And now we wonder today how many Christians, or even ourselves, do we recognize that we are in a fight, that we are in a battle, that we are engaging in warfare? Or have we kind of become the church, not the Church Militant, but the church intimidated? That is, are we afraid to proclaim and profess our faith? Are we afraid to live out our faith? Have we become the church indifferent, just really not caring about our own salvation or the salvation of others? Okay, this is what it means to be a member of the Church Militant, to have, first of all, the understanding of who we are fighting, of what the war is all about. Just like in any battle, you have to know what is your goal. What are you fighting for? You have to know who is the enemy. Who am I fighting against? And you have to know yourself as well, what are the means that I have to obtain victory? And so what is the Church Militant fighting for? Well, just as I said in the prayer of the opening Mass, for the glory of God's name and the salvation of souls. The glory of God and the salvation of our salvation and also the salvation of others. This is our goal. This is the goal of the Church Militant in the world. Now, who are we fighting against? As I've named many times before, we fight this battle on three principal fronts: against the devil, the world, and the flesh. These are the enemies against the salvation of souls, in which consists the glory of God's name for men here on earth. And so we also need to know what are the means of obtaining victory. Against the devil and his minions, we have prayer and the sacraments. It is the means of obtaining God's grace, our help in our struggle against the devil, who by nature is more powerful than us, more intelligent and stronger than we are. And so we need God's help, and we obtain it through prayer, especially the Holy Rosary and the sacraments, confession and the Eucharist. Now, against the world and its false maxims, our means of victory is of course the truths of our faith, the truths that we receive from the magisterium, and not just revealed truths, but also truths in respect to the natural law, of which the Church is the authentic and authoritative interpreter of the natural law. Today there's a lot of moral confusion about what's right, what's licit, what you can't do, especially today with regard to marriage, to human sexuality, etc. And so we know the truth. We fight the battle against the world and its false maxims by receiving the truth of these matters from the Church, from the magisterium. Finally, on the third front, we have the flesh. And our means of victory is mortification, living a penitential life, living a life of sacrifice, of generous sacrifice, thus subduing our own evil inclinations and controlling our own passions. And all of this, St. Lawrence fought his own battle under the banner of Our Lady. And this, too, is an example for all of us. Our Lady, who is our Queen and Commandress, the Queen and Commandress of the Church Militant. And so, with the prayers of St. Lawrence today on his feast day, let us resolve to fight the good fight, as St. Paul said, to conquer ourselves and others, for Christ the King and Mary our Queen. Praise be Jesus Christ.